humbly and once at your service. Letter draft 95% completed. U.S. Representative Will Hurd, Texas A&M San Antonio, Office for Civil Rights, Dallas Office, U.S. Department of Education. Speaking now of the entity that I am at the present moment, an American and U.S. disabled veteran, a student, a father, a son, an American family member. I say the worry is, if we have fallen into a deep slumber as all societies sometimes do during economic prosperity. So these words reaching respectfully in the new church, i.e. the University of the Americas should not fail to inspire change. Let not the only solution be arrogantly ignored. Burdened with the task of describing reality here at the cost of not doing so, the removal of my student financial aid eligibility, it is with much reluctance that I account for reality as I perceive it. It is with literal reluctance that I complain to the next highest authority of this matter. It is with confidence that I entrust this matter to the Office of U.S. Representative Will Hurd, the Office for Civil Rights, Dallas Office, U.S. Department of Education, the Affidavit of Texas Agricultural and Mechanical University, better known as Texas A&M University at San Antonio.
But which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge. And the crime, and the gangs, and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential. This, an education system flush with cash, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge. And the crime, and the gangs, and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country.
Limited now by consideration of your time and not by quantitative justification. I am counseled predictably to not seek a brawl, to change my direction in line with the current, that I be washed away to safer waters. But I say to you, with relevant sensation, the current direction has changed. This temple of so-called education or university, or a brick and mortar, as some at Texas A&M University say, I counsel respectfully. The reaction, pretentiousness, and audacity, respectfully, I have encountered within this new church, as I say, is highly reminiscent. There is an inauthentic benevolence of concern bestowed upon me by some at Texas A&M University. A benevolence resembling true concern, nonetheless it is inauthentic, I say to you, the reader. I know from years of experiential work dating to my childhood when the worker's body needs to quit and rest for optimal leisure health. I tell you with more recent experiential activity resulting in wisdom, I have gone days without sleep and weeks with rest amounts to no more than periodic and random minutes within 24-hour intervals in the deserts and streets of the eastern parts of this world. I fled for us. I know the boast is detested, but I do not boast. The new church, as I say with confidence, quits early with regards to contemplation related to the measurement of learning. Granted, there are some who contemplate, but they are far outnumbered by those who pretend. An idea, directional learning in time and space, a foundation of simulation versus a foundation of both simulation and experience, may lead some to be apprehensive to the disclosure of one's own superiority or iniquities pertaining to subject matter at hand. Fear of revealing to one's venture the concepts of study were ungrasped. Relevant here more so a mentor's fear of revealing to one's own mentee that concepts at study are not instantly at recall with the mentor's own mind, within the mentor's own mind. As if fear motivates only trivial learning and prohibits the recognition that concepts say just like any other memory and must be retrieved with complex thought even by the high priestess of the new church. Recognition that there are times more often than estimated, no boast intended that the mentee veteran supersedes mentor in certain aspects of subject matter understanding. subject matter understanding divided both by a trivial learning foundation and an experiential foundation. One derived more so from stimulation versus one derived more so dialectically. Please understand that I reach out to you as a last resort. U.S. Representative Will Hurd, as always, ideologies collide. I am perplexed. The world is not as I once knew it. I can accept imperfection because imperfection comes natural. The collision of world ideologies can be anticipated. What is the U.S. veterans' place in this concept of collision if not one of attempted understanding? To strengthen the pillars and alter with Masonic skill the framework upon which our American ideology rests. I need your help. My understanding is simple. Tradition and ritual are in my way to do what I can in anticipation of this collision. I tell you with absolute certainty that the U.S. disabled veteran student in our country's youth is being studied in tradition at Texas A&M San Antonio. The motive is monopoly, and that is okay. And idle people may not prosper in a market-based society. Let the high priests and high priestesses be not at rest in their black robes and white lab coats at Texas A&M and San Antonio. The consensus given to me meet the academic expectations. I tell you, Representative Will Hurd, with absolute certainty that I am learning quantitatively, conceptually, and experientially by dialectical methods that amount to that cannot be accurately measured by the traditional rituals, i.e. the traditional assessment practiced by the worshippers of science. Meeting the academic expectation is equivalent to psychological conditioning. In a sense, if I comply, I will knowingly and willingly be swindled by this less than perfect educational system. To the worshippers of science, a word holds constant. To the worshippers of science, a word holds constant. Constant. Constant to the meaning of the scientific by scientific decree. Most nod their heads and chins in agreement with that they do not fully understand. Some were sheltered well. Some have only come in contact with scientific research rituals and publications that protect them from the realities of this world. Simulation is all some know. The Eastern extremists baffle them. The U.S. veteran revolt disdain in them. The riches of this country distract them. The incentive to worship science is all some know. To disagree with the mad scientist is condoned. To disagree with the profiting researcher is condemned. Texas A&M at San Antonio, although proportionally serving the educational needs of our country's youth, I tell you, U.S. Representative Will Hurd is also unknowingly a house of squandered. It ignores the human being that is the student. May your days be good.
About the qualifications early in the nation on higher education. The Department of Education is in charge of making sure that $150 billion that we invest in students each year gets into the right hands, and students have the support they need to be able to pay back their student loans. The Secretary of Education is essentially responsible for managing a $1 trillion student loan bank and distributing $30 billion in Pell Grants to students each year. The financial futures of an entire generation of young people depend on your department getting that right. Now, Mrs. Jock, do you have any direct experience in running a bank?
Senator, I do not.
Have you ever managed or overseen a $1 trillion loan program?
I have not.
How about a $1 billion loan program?
I have not.
Okay, so no experience in managing a program like this. How about participating in one? I think it's important for the person who is in charge of our financial aid programs to understand what it's like for students and their families who are struggling to pay for college. Mrs. Jones, have you ever taken out a student loan from the federal government to help pay for college?
I have not.
Have any of your children had to borrow money in order to go to college?
They have been fortunate not to.
Have you had any personal experience with Pell Grant?
Not personal experience, but certainly friends and students with whom I've worked.
Do you have no personal experience with college financial aid or management of higher education? Mrs. Johnson, let's start with the basics. Do you support protecting federal taxpayer dollars from waste on youth?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. So do I. Because now we all know that President-elect Trump's experience with higher education was to create a fake university, which resulted in him paying $25 million to students that he cheated. So I'm curious about how the Trump administration would protect against waste, fraud, and abuse at similar for-profit colleges. So here's my question. How do you plan to protect taxpayer dollars from waste, fraud, and abuse by colleges that take in millions of dollars in federal student aid?
Senator, if confirmed, I will certainly be very vigilant.
Yeah, I'm at people out. How do you do that? You said you're committed.
The individuals with whom I work in the department will ensure that federal monies are used properly and appropriately, and I will look forward to working with you.
So you're going to subcontract making sure that what happens with universities that cheat students doesn't happen anymore.
No, I do not.
You're going to give that to someone else to do? I just want to know what your ideas are for making sure we don't have problems with waste, fraud, and abuse.
I want to make sure we don't have problems with that as well. And if confirmed, I will work diligently to ensure that we are addressing any of those issues.
But let me make a suggestion on this. It actually turns out that a whole group of rules that are already written there, and all you have to do is enforce them. So what I want to know is, will you commit to enforcing these rules to ensure that no career college receives federal funds unless they can prove that they are actually preparing their students for gainful employment and not cheating them?
Senator, I will commit to ensuring that the institutions which receive federal funds are actually serving their students well.
And so you will enforce the gainful employment rule to make sure that these career colleges are not cheating students?
We will certainly review that rule
You'll
and
review it, you will not enforce it?
and see that it is actually achieving what the intentions are.
I don't understand about reviewing. We talked about this in my office. There are already rules in place to stop waste, fraud, and abuse. And I don't understand how you cannot be sure about enforcing them. You know, swindlers and crooks are out there doing backflips when they hear an answer like this. If confirmed, you will be the cop on the beat. Swindlers and crooks are out there doing be sure about enforcing them. You know, swindlers and crooks are out there doing backflips when they hear an answer like this. If confirmed, you will be the cop on the beat.